for avoiding and handling chargebacks. Number 1, have a booking site. If you do not have a booking site and you book through DM, email, text message, what have you, still have something somewhere where you can email your client your terms and conditions, your policies, what have you, right? All this is just a lot easier if you have a website, because you can already have this stuff automated in there, but some people, for whatever reason, don't want one. So if you do not want to have a website, you still need to have certain things in writing to protect your own ass. So I say that to say, if you have a deposit policy and your deposit is non-refundable, it needs to be somewhere in writing for your client to agree to. You cannot just shoot a text message and go, hey, yeah, so the deposit is $35. And then when the client goes, oh, I'm canceling, I don't want to come no more, you be like, oh, well, it's not refundable. If you did not state that from the very beginning, now this client now has a loophole to get their money back. Also, keep in mind that credit card companies are not for businesses. They are for companies. I mean, for customers, sorry. Credit card companies are not for the business. They are for the customer. Meaning that literally these clients and customers don't have to do anything to get their money back, but say, I'm owed my money back. And a lot of the time what will happen is they will tell the customer or the client that they're doing an investigation. They don't do no damn investigation. They literally just call the processor and go, hey, this person, your client that uses your payment processing system owes my client money, so run the money. And then the company be like, oh, okay, well, they ruled the dispute in their favor, so we're going to take this money from you. And there are certain platforms like Shopify that charge you extra for these disputes. So be proactive. Being proactive in the very beginning will save you so much of a headache. And I'm telling you guys this from experience. I've had people order $400 worth of hair, lie and tell their company they didn't get it. Mind you, I have it to where my stuff could be signed for and everything. And I've lost money. You've taken $400 from me and gotten free hair. I had a client that showed up to her appointment, child, signed for her shit in person, and told her card company that she never received her services, but she was here. So if you are proactive from the very beginning, if you lay out your terms and conditions and you have clients, you have a platform or something somewhere, I don't give a damn if you type out an agreement, email it to the client and have them send it with their ID and send it back. You need to do something that lets the credit card company know, no, this person acknowledges that they were here. This person acknowledges that it was them that booked that appointment. So yes, I did say that. Get everything in writing. Another thing that I do, and a lot of people don't like it, but it saved my ass every single time. I do not talk on the phone. Now, if you are a person that prefers to talk to your clients as opposed to texting them, make sure that you are recording every single phone call. I don't give a damn if they're just calling you and asking you how much something costs. Make sure that you are recording that conversation. Because the last thing that you want is to go, well, I told her XYZ. And the card company goes, well, where is your proof? And you go, oh, it was just a phone conversation. You have no way to prove that. If you get a verbal agreement, if you record a verbal agreement, it is now a legally binding contract between you and your client. Another thing, let me see. Mind you, I have my notes here. I'm looking at my notes. Take pictures. Even if you don't use the pictures, take pictures. Reason being is, I know, for instance, like with PayPal and Square, because you are offering a service, there's no tangible way to say, hey, yes, this person actually came and sat in my chair. At that point, they're just going off of your word of mouth, right? And it's your word against the client's. Now, your payment processor will always fight for you, but whatever that client or customer's card company says is what it is. So always take pictures. And because that way, let's say for argument's sake, you know, the company asks like, oh, well, sorry, you guys, I got like a splinter or something in my finger. But let's say, like, I know, like, PayPal and them will ask, like, well, do you have a picture or something of, like, you servicing this client? You can show a picture of that person in your space. They can't deny that. If the company looks at that person's ID and looks at the picture of them, like, bro, you were there. And then, you know, the beautiful thing with, like, iPhones, I'm not sure about Androids just because I don't have one, but I know, like, iPhones, it shows at the top of your screen when you took that picture or you took that video. So that will help you as well. Also, another thing is send follow-up texts and emails. Make sure that your client is satisfied before they leave and after, right? So what I do is I use Acuity, and I have Acuity already set up to send follow-up emails. Now, not every client responds to them, but I always take pictures of everything, even if I don't post it. And when I do, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get somebody that responds and goes, "Oh my God, thank you so much. I love my hair." Or I like to do, like when I do my my videos, like when I complete the service, I like to spin my clients around and record their reaction. So there's no way that you could be on camera talking about, "Oh my God, I love it. It's so beautiful." And then you're saying your car company, that my service was terrible. I hated it. So that's another one. Let's see. Oh, like I said, yeah, be sure to follow up and make sure your client is satisfied. So I don't always do it because I have a lot of clients. Like I said, my website is automated. But if this is a client, especially one that's like brand new to you and they've never had a service from you before and they didn't answer, it's okay to send them a text like a couple of days later and go, "Hey, this is such and such. I just wanted to follow up with you about your appointment that you had with me a couple of days ago. I just wanted to make sure that everything everything met or exceeded your expectations." And usually what will happen is, if it didn't, or if they had a question about something, they'll ask. I had a client that tried a lace closure for the first time. When my email was sent to her and asked her about her appointment, she actually replied to the email and said, "Hey, what did you use to lay the baby hairs down?" Simple question. But that tiny little question acknowledged that this person was there in your chair. Let's see. Also, if you do receive a dispute email, don't be afraid to reach out to that customer or client. Because sometimes you are going to run into people that are just shady and they're doing shady business and they're trying to get over on you. But there are other times where, like sometimes, you will file a dispute on a charge and your credit card company, and let's say that there's other charges that happened that day, your card company may dispute all of the charges that happened that day, as it being fraud. And then you may be in that list of transactions. That has happened to me before. I've had a long time client that happened with, and she ended up contacting me and letting me know, like, "Hey, I filed a dispute about XYZ, and they disputed all the charges for that day. If for whatever reason PayPal happens to contact you, let me know and I will resend you the money." That conversation alone was enough for me to just send back to PayPal and let them know, like, the transaction was in error. There have been times where, like, I had a client one time that was at her service, signed for her appointment, like signed for her card and everything, and filed a dispute. And when I reached out to her, she didn't know what I was talking about. But she ended up sending me, like, I guess she ended up calling her car company, because mind you, customers can call their car company back and say, "Hey, this was not the transaction I was trying to dispute. It was actually this one, and this one is a mistake." And usually what will happen is, like, if you have an honest client, if their appointment was disputed and it was in error, usually they will, like, send the money back if the card company doesn't do it for you. And then last but not least, understand that just because, okay, let's say, like, if a dispute is filed or a chargeback is filed through PayPal, and PayPal goes, "Okay, well, the card company awarded this dispute in the customer's favor. There's no further action that you can take on this." That is not true. If you have to take legal action, you can always go to small claims court and sue someone. Do not think that you just have to eat that loss. And I had to learn that. I tell people, like, take that Kris Jenner approach. I don't give a damn if it's $10. You better sue for your $10, because if 10 people charge you back for $10, that's $100 that you've lost. Like I said, there are certain card processors that charge fees. So, like, I think Shopify charges you like $35 for every chargeback. So that's $350 on top of the $100 in chargebacks if 10 people did a chargeback for $10. No, you don't eat that. You don't just take that. If you know that someone is committing fraud against you, you don't have to lay back and accept that. There's things that you can do. So, I know I get a lot of people that will go, "Oh, well, what about, like, on my booking site, you don't have a person's address." That is true, but there are ways to reverse. I used to work at a check cashing place where we literally could, like, you could search someone's number, or you could search their name and you could reverse their address. Or you can always hire a private investigator and have them find that person's information. Now, I'm saying this because I don't want anybody to go do no wild shit and be harassing clients and stuff like that. I am saying this strictly for if you receive a chargeback and that chargeback is rolled in the customer's favor and you know that that chargeback is fraud. Yes, you can press charges and you can sue, because that's someone taking money out of your pocket. That's someone, if someone receives a service from you and gets a return on that money, you can't get a return on the service. That person is now stolen from you. If you have shipped out a product and this person has received their product, because I've seen shit where I've seen like TikToks where people be like, yeah, this girl got a wig from me, ordered the wig. She said that she didn't receive the wig, but she's wearing a wig in the video. Yo, you can sue for that. You can press charges for that. Especially if you are doing, if you're shipping things, you now have someone's address. But if you are a hairstylist or a nail tech or whatever, if you're any sort of service provider, and this person does not provide their information, you can hire a private investigator and have that person's information found. And a lot of people post their jobs. You can have them served at their jobs. What else was I going to say? There was another point that I was missing. But yes, you can definitely take legal action and take that person to small claims. Because even if, let's say that they rule in your favor and the person doesn't pay out, they'll just get their wages garnished, or like if they file taxes or something like that. So if you're noticing an influx in chargebacks or fraud, make sure that you are, like, there's simple things that you can do. Like, for instance, if you have a online store, make sure that the address for the card and the address that the items are being shipped to match. It is the simplest thing, and it's usually one of the biggest ways that people commit fraud, because people just don't pay attention to it. Because if a person really wants to order that item from you and that is the only thing that's stopping them, they'll go and change their address with the card company. So there's that. I've also seen hairstylists that require clients to upload their IDs. I don't do that. However, if you book an appointment with me under a nickname, I will cancel the appointment and I will refund you. Why? Because that is not your government name. And if something goes wrong, I know that we would love to trust people. I'm definitely the one that always likes to see the good in people. But there are people in the world that are untrustworthy, and even the people that have been coming to you for a long time will find ways to scam you. So, with that being said, do not put anything past anybody. Make sure that if this person's name is Angela Washington, that she does not put Angie Washington on her booking thing. No. Or you can go actually in the thing and change it to her actual name. So that is all that I have for that. If you guys, if there's, like I always say, if there's any other topics that you guys would like me to talk about, I am more than happy to do so. Everything that I speak on is from my experience behind the chair. So there is nothing that I don't speak on, anything that I don't know or have not experienced. I don't speak anything out of theory. I speak solely on what I've experienced and what I've gone through, in hopes that you guys don't have to go through the same thing. So I pray that you guys all have a beautiful Tuesday, and I will see y'all later. Bye.